Thank you, children, very much. That was beautiful. And thank you to the young people, young here. And that did not happen, and Peter is going to explain what's happened there. But there's the things that are going to happen in the next little while will be very informative and lead us into praying for our nation. And also, even though Linda didn't come, we have a surprise for you at the end of the evening. We have been able to have some guests come to finish this evening off. So we have something special to look forward to. But right now, we are looking forward to this time. Peter has done an awesome job of putting this together to inform us on this, and so we can pray for our nation of Canada. Peter is pastoring at the Well Church, and he's also on, he's part of a group called the National Council of Watchmen, and has been for many, many years, and travels a lot in our nation to pray and discern about our nation's situation, and then inform so that intercessors all over are praying for our nation.
Thank you for that, Maria. Is Luella here still? Somewhere. I just wanted to respond to the welcome from you and from the Clegg today. I just feel that number one, that I personally feel honored to be welcomed by you. I also just am impressed really by the humility and, well, I don't know if this is a word or not, but honorability, is that a word? Personally, because when there's a people group that have been wronged, and yet there's that dignity to come and to be able to welcome us. We know that the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. And yet the Lord gives stewardship to certain ones. And this territory here, He put the Clegg here. So I just want to say thank you for welcoming us. And that it's a privilege really to be here, to stand together with you, shoulder to shoulder, for the sake of the kingdom and all that the Lord wants to do. Tonight we want to, as Maria mentioned, we want to shift our focus onto something that's happening in the nation of Canada. How many people have heard of the Journey of Freedom? Can you put your hand way up so I can see if you've heard of the Journey of Freedom? Okay, so it looks like maybe about a third of the people, or half at the most. So I'm going to explain a little bit. Like Maria said, Linda Prince. How many people know Linda Prince? I'm getting you to be charismatic here. You know. Hallelujah. You just say hallelujah when you put your hand up. Do it. Many of us know Linda Prince, and she's from this region, more a little bit west, and she was a former chief, and I've known Linda actually for a number of years and deeply love her. I know of her, Linda has a real deep love for the Lord, and she has a real deep love for her people. And she's traveled all over the world, ministering and responding. Anyway, she was going to come and she was going to share with us about this journey of freedom that's happening in the nation right now. But due to circumstances, she couldn't come. A nephew of hers has been very sick and had to go to Vancouver and has been hovering on the edge of death. And we've been praying for him. And she's mostly been there with a few others in the family, watching night and day and being with him and praying. And she's left a few times. She had to go to Hong Kong and whatever. So that's what's happening now. She's there. She said to Maria that it's actually quite amazing. Even some of the rest of the family is actually turning their lives back to the Lord through this. So that's really awesome to hear. Anyway, Linda was going to come, but we felt that we needed to write to her and say, we want to release you. We want you here, but if you're not able to come, we understand what's happening. So that's the situation. She wasn't able to come. So you don't get the first best tonight, but we're going to try and just tune our hearts to the Lord about this. On June 11th, 2008, many of us would know that Prime Minister Harper stood up in the House of Commons and he apologized to the First Peoples of Canada. The First Peoples of Canada are the First Nations, the Inuit and the Métis. That's the First Peoples of Canada that's what I'm referring to. He stood up and he apologized to them for the sins of our nation, really is what he did. Towards the first people, for the whole residential and assimilation policy that happened really over a period of 140 years in our nation. And we're going to play a video clip in a few minutes. We're going to play it, but I want you to listen closely. Right at the end, what's very interesting is that Prime Minister Harper not only apologizes, but he actually asks for forgiveness. What happened was some of the first peoples of Canada, the Christian leaders in the nation, they caught that, and they realized that even though the apology was accepted, forgiveness wasn't released to the Prime Minister and to the government and to the nation. And they recognized that forgiveness is not a political thing. It's actually something that's spiritual. So it needs to be done in that context. And they also understand the power and significance of actually releasing forgiveness, to actually do that. So they've invited the Prime Minister to come to a gathering, and they've invited all of Canada actually to come to a gathering June 10th, 11th, and 12th in Ottawa. And they invited the Prime Minister to come too, and I don't know if there's a response from him yet, but they actually want to make a charter of forgiveness, and they want to present it to the Prime Minister. So that's, yeah, go ahead, give it a hand. So that's just a little nutshell of what's happening. While the First Peoples leaders, so there was Inuit, First Nations, and Métis, they've had a few summits together, so a representation of leaders from the whole nation over the last few years now have been together and trying to discern and seek the Lord as to how he would like this to be done. So there's a recognition of a need to respond to the Prime Minister, but they also felt that before they could do that, they wanted to go to as many of their people, the First Peoples in Canada, and to the church. I'm calling the rest of us the Second Peoples, just for the sake of, you have the First Peoples and the Second Peoples. So there has been this journey of freedom that has been going on in the nation since January, all over the nation. Like right from sea to sea, they've been in Iqaluit, they've been like in Yellowknife, they're going to Halifax, they've been in Vancouver, they've been all across. And they're going and they're presenting this heart to their people and to the church, and just calling us all to rise up and stand with what the Holy Spirit is doing in the nation. That's what's happening right now, the journey of freedom. And then there's the Forgiven Summit, which I already mentioned, which will take place June 10, 11, and 12.
It's 11, 12,
next
13.
month. So what we want to do, first of all, is just play this video clip of Prime Minister Harper so we can get a taste of the apology.